Hey, it's technology expert Burton Kelso here with another tech tip to help you get the most out of the technology in your life. Buying a new computer can be a struggle. There's so many things and features out there that it makes it difficult for people to figure out what type of computer they should get. Should they go with a laptop, tablet? Should they go with a desktop computer, Windows or Mac? Those are all the questions that we have to deal with when purchasing a new computer. Well, hopefully this tech tip will help you make the right purchase as far as a computer is concerned. I'll go through some of the features that you should look for with a new computer, and hopefully this tip will help you make the right purchase. Let's take a look and see what things we should look for in a computer. First, I could look at is, do we want to buy a desktop computer or a laptop or even a tablet? Well, if you like portability, you definitely should buy a laptop. But keep in mind, laptops have a shorter lifespan than desktop computers. If you are mobile, you definitely want to buy a laptop. If you purchase a laptop, you want to spend at least $500 or more for a laptop. The same thing for a desktop computer. If you purchase a desktop computer, you definitely want to spend at least $500 or more for a new computer. If you purchase a Macintosh computer, obviously that's going to be a little bit different. And for tablets, if portability is your thing, you definitely want to buy a laptop or a tablet. But as far as tablets are concerned too, should you buy a Microsoft Surface tablet or an iPad? If you do a lot of processing, typing documents and designing presentations, then definitely the Surface would be the way to go. If you're just checking email, getting on social media, then you could go with a tablet. So hopefully that answers that question. Our next question is, what's the right processor to get? Well, Intel processors are the main processors on the market, but you've got several type of Intel processors, whether you have a Windows or a Macintosh computer. The lowest end processor would be the Intel Celeron processor, which is probably the slowest processor on the market. A lot of people think that they need a faster processor to play games and do high-end processes, but that's simply not the case. With the Celeron, you're talking about outdated technology, 10 or 15 years old. It's just a slow processor, and the only reason computer manufacturers market Celeron processors is just so they can sell computers at a lower price. The same thing for this processor that says Intel Pentium inside. The advertiser wants you to know that it's a Pentium computer, but at the same time, it's just a dual core processor, which means it only has two processors, which means that the technology itself is about 10 years old. And again, it's just an entry-level processor or brain of the computer to get you to buy a new computer at a low price. So these two processors, the Pentium inside and the Celeron, should be avoided at all costs because you really don't get your money's worth, even though you think that you get a good deal on the computer. Now, the three that you really want to concentrate on are these Intel Celeron, or excuse me, Intel I series processors. The lowest of the bunch is the Intel Core i3 processor, which is your general purpose computer. So if you've got an i-core processor, i3 core processor, the types of things you're going to be doing with the computer is surfing the internet, checking email, and just running your day-to-day programs like Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, and the Office Suite, QuickBooks, and then maybe Adobe Acrobat as far as creating PDF files. So that's what the i3 processor for. And it's geared, like I said, for general use or for home computer use and for students. The next processor up would be the Intel i5 processor, which is the middle of the road processor. It's geared towards, I would say, small business or home-based business users. It gives you a little bit more punch than the i3 processor would, but it also has four processors, but it runs at a little faster speed than the i3 processor does. And the Cadillac of processors, it would be the Intel i7 processor, which is the fastest processor out on the market for both Windows and Macintosh computers. If you're doing high-end work on your computer, such as design, presentation, or even video, the i7 processor is the one that you want to get. It's fast. It allows you to run just about anything out there as far as programs and tasks are available. So again, the i7, if you can afford it, if it's in your budget, it is definitely the processor that you want to go with. Next is let's get the amount of RAM for your computer. RAM is very important. It's not for storage, but it allows you to multitask with your computer and allows your programs to run a little bit faster and smoother. The right amount of RAM for your computer that you should purchase would be about 8 gigs of RAM. It's the minimum amount of RAM that you want to get for both a Windows and a Macintosh computer. Most Macs are starting to come with 16 gigs of RAM, which is awesome. But if you could get by with 8 minimum for a Windows computer, that is what you want to target as far as the amount of RAM on your computer. Next would be the select the right hard drive. This is very important because there's two types of hard drives on the market. You've got your standard magnetic platter-based hard drive here, which is a 4 terabyte drive from Western Digital, it looks like. And over here, you've got your solid-state drive, which has no moving parts. Now, the difference between a standard hard drive and a solid-state hard drive is that your standard hard drives normally have more storage on them. So you can get size from 1 to 4 terabytes or larger of storage. So if you store a lot of photos on your computer, you work with a lot of video, then you definitely want to stick with a traditional hard drive just because of the amount of storage that you have available on your computer. If you get a computer that does not have the right amount of storage, then you would be stuck with the process of trying to save information to an external hard drive, which can be cumbersome, and it puts you at risk because external hard drives are notorious for failing just because they're portable devices. Now, solid state hard drive, even though it doesn't offer the storage that your regular hard drives have, give you speed. Since there's no moving parts in a solid state drive, your operating system such as Windows or Macintosh definitely will boot up a lot quicker with a solid state hard drive than it would with a traditional hard drive. If you're looking for speed and you don't need to have a lot of storage on your computer and a lot of the information that you do is web-based, then a solid state drive would be perfect for you. But again, if you have a lot of storage that you use, then you want to stick with your traditional regular hard drive. Next would be check your peripherals. Now this is very important because when you purchase a computer, you need to know what type of peripherals that you need to have available on your computer. So for example, the peripherals that you want to look for is HDMI. So if you purchase a laptop, you want to make sure that you've got an HDMI output because most of the projectors have HDMI outputs if you want to connect your laptop to a TV, or if you want to connect your desktop computer to a TV, you need to make sure that it's got a HDMI port. If you do a lot of camera use, you want to make sure that you have an SD slot installed in your desktop or laptop computer. SD slots make it easy for you to transfer your information from your digital camera to your computer if you use a digital camera. Most people have switched over to smartphones, so that's not important, but SD slot is important for those who use cameras with their computer. Next would be Wi-Fi. Now, modern computers, both Windows and Mac, have Wi-Fi built in the computer, so that way you don't have to worry about plugging your computer into your router in order to get internet. Wi-Fi capability in desktop and laptop computers just gives you a little bit more flexibility as far as where you can place your computer. So if your computer or office is not located next to your router, then a Wi-Fi connection in both your laptop or desktop computer would be important. And Bluetooth is something else that you might want to consider. A lot of devices don't use Bluetooth, but if you do want to use Bluetooth to send audio to headphones or to a surround sound system in your home, so that is an important feature to look at. And finally, as far as the computer is concerned, the big question, should you buy a Mac OS computer or should you buy a Windows computer? That really depends on you and your budget. Macintosh computers are a little bit more pricey. Macs generally start around $1,200 and can go easily up to $2,000. The thing that makes Macs a little bit more expensive is they come fully loaded. So most of your Macs are going to come with an i7 processor. So you don't have to worry about if I purchase a computer, is it going to have enough RAM or is it going to do what I need it to do? The chances are if you pick up a Mac, it's ready to go. You just open it up, you're ready to rock and roll and don't have to worry about any system requirements. Now, as Windows computers are concerned, you really do have to pay attention and make sure that you get the right system requirements, because Windows computers can range from $200 up to about $2,000. But a lot of people get sucked in to the cheaper computer rate thinking that they don't need to spend money on a computer, but it's simply not the case. But if you are a Windows user and you hear that Macs are easier to use, the best thing for you to do is to stick with Windows. And if you're struggling with Windows, you probably need to take some computer classes, because working between Windows and Mac is really not that much different. Viruses can be an issue with Windows computers, and that's simply for the simple fact that most cyber criminals target viruses towards Windows computer, because simply there's just more Windows computers on the market than there are Macintosh computers. But there are ways that you can protect your Windows computer and not have to worry about viruses on your Windows computer. Just get with an IT specialist like myself, and you too can experience a Windows computer without viruses. But price, there is a big price difference between Windows and Mac. So if you've got a limited budget, you probably need to stick with a Windows computer. If your budget's unlimited, you can go with a Mac. But then again, if you're a Windows user, stick with Windows. If you're a Macintosh user, you probably should stick with Mac and just learn the operating system. So hopefully this tip gives you an idea what you need to look for when you're purchasing a new computer. I know that the choice can be difficult for computers, but if you have the right specs in hand when you take a trip to the computer store, it'll just make it a lot simpler for you to get the computer that you need, and that's going to last for a while. Because with laptop and desktop computers now, you should be seeing a life expectancy of anywhere from 5 to 10 years from a computer. If you make the right choice, you can definitely have a computer that lasts for a long period of time. So, as always, if you have questions about this tip, leave them in the comment section below. I'll be more than happy to answer them for you. You can check out more great tips like this one on our YouTube channel, Integral On-Site and Online Tech Support. And we're all over social media sharing technology tips. So check us out on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, and Pinterest. And as always, take care of yourself and do many things to make you smile.